With the new GOP debate comes a whole new slew of assertions that are either misrepresentative of reality or just outright fabrications. So Politifact broke down some of the biggest claims made by the candidates last night. So I'll go over those, but also I have some more that I want to add because they were just blatant lies told that you can easily dismiss. Now, first and foremost, Ted Cruz stated that the head of the FBI told Congress they cannot vet Syrian refugees. Now, Politifact rates this mostly false because they can and they do vet Syrian refugees, and our vetting process is very comprehensive. It takes 18 to 24 months to vet them. So to state that we can't vet them, that doesn't make sense, and it's not representative of reality. So Ted Cruz was lying right there. Now, Jeb Bush said 2 months ago, Donald Trump said that ISIS was not our fight. Now, Politifact actually rates this mostly true. As we all know, Donald Trump, he tends to just blow off a lot of hot air. So he's not necessarily paying attention to everything that he says. So when he makes these types of claims and then later goes and contradicts himself, well, he's not aware of it because a lot of the time he moves his mouth, but he doesn't pay attention to what's coming out. So the fact that Jeb Bush pointed this out was not only smart on Jeb Bush's part, but it shows that Donald Trump is a blithering idiot. Now, Rand Paul made the assertion that, quote, Marco Rubio is the one for the open border. Now, Politifact rated this claim pants on fire false. It's completely a fabricated lie. Now, the reason why Rand Paul said this is because he's referring to a 2013 bill, and that bill, which Marco Rubio supported, is the reason why Rand Paul states that Marco Rubio is for an open border, but within that specific bill, well, it has extensive border security as one of the contingents. So Rand Paul basically just said this to smear Marco Rubio, but it has no substance. It's not based on empirical reality. The bill that Marco Rubio supports, it actually does have border security. So Marco Rubio is not for an open border, obviously. Now, when it comes to Carly Fiorina, she says, quote, one of the things I would immediately do is bring back the warrior class. Petraeus, McChrystal, Matisse, however you pronounce that name, Keane, Flynn, everyone was retired early because they told President Obama things that he didn't want to hear. Now, Politifact rates this mostly false because it runs the gamut from right to wrong. It's true that some of those individuals retired because they didn't agree with Obama, but that's not true for all of these individuals. So basically, she just name-dropped a bunch of people, but she didn't really look into all of their positions. Now, it's the case that Obama is going to clash with military generals and other individuals in government, but not all of them retired because they disagree with Obama or that they told him something he didn't want to hear. So that's a lie. Now, there are 3 other claims that I want to fact-check personally, and they all are related to Chris Christie. So I'm going to be using Politifact's rating system to rate Chris Christie's claims because I thought that they were so ridiculous you couldn't not fact-check them, and I don't want this misinformation getting out there and spreading. So now, first and foremost, Chris Christie says Iran and ISIS are inextricably connected, and I rate this pants on fire false. So if you know anything about the Middle East and North African politics, foreign policy, if you have any knowledge whatsoever about this general political area, you'll know that ISIS is comprised of Sunni Muslims, Sunni Wahhabi Muslims in particular, a very extremist branch of Islam, whereas Iran is a Shia nation. The government is Shia. I don't know if Chris Christie knows this, but both Shia and Sunni, well, they typically don't like each other, hence the reason why there was a civil war in Iraq that was Shia versus Sunni. So to state that Iraq and ISIS are, quote, inextricably connected is just a blatant lie. And I don't necessarily think that Chris Christie actually lied on purpose. I think that he just doesn't know the difference between a Sunni and a Shia Muslim and is just dumb. Now, another thing that Chris Christie states, he says, it's reckless to invite Russia and Iran into Syria, and I rate this claim mostly false. Now, I don't say pants on fire because it is the case that we can't really truly know the intentions of Iran and Russia, but we can actually look at their actions, and when you look at their actions, you'll see that what they are doing is beneficial, not just for us, but to the entire region because they are currently fighting ISIS. Now, Chris Christie has stated that he wants to diminish and ultimately defeat ISIS. The way you do this is not by bearing that responsibility by yourself and making the US do all of it, but you have to have other people do it as well. You need allies, you need a coalition. Now again, I want to stress the fact that both Russia and Iran's intentions are probably to protect Assad, which we also don't like, but they're destroying what many GOP candidates say is the biggest existential threat to the nation, which is ISIS. So to state that is incorrect by his own standards. Now, the final claim, Christie says, he states that the Chinese government is enriching oligarchs. Now, I rate this true, but I also rate this, but so are you hypocrite, because what is it that the GOP party aims to do most? They are enriching our American oligarchs, the Koch brothers, Paul Singer, Sheldon Adelson. Everything that they do is tailored to the interests of the elite billionaire donor class. So it's probably the case that American politicians are enriching our oligarchy more so than Chinese officials. It's hypocritical, and he really doesn't think that people perceive him as a corrupt politician, but we know we're paying attention and we know you're corrupt. So those were the biggest lies. Comment down below if I missed anything and fact check them in the comment section, because we want to be sure to break down as much information or as much misinformation as possible.